Good evening and welcome to the Community Information Session for the 2025 Every Student Matters Census. My name is Sonal Gohil and I'm the Superintendent of Equity, Diversity and Inclusion and Safe and Caring Schools at the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board.
And I'm Karen Cummings, Principal at Clark High School.
It is our pleasure to be here this evening to share information with you about the Every Student Matters Census for the 2025 school year. We will have the opportunity this evening to highlight why we are engaging in this work, answer some questions that you may be thinking about, and celebrate some of the amazing work that was completed in 2019 when we last conducted this census, all in service of our students and the families that we serve.
As we begin the session, we'd like to take a moment to respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga First Nations. We are grateful for our relationship with the First Nations of this territory, for their care for and teachings about the land, the water, and all our relations. As treaty people, we continue our journey to strengthen our understanding of our treaty relationship and of how to move forward together in a good way. We acknowledge the contributions and accomplishments of all Indigenous people across Turtle Island, current and throughout history.
As mentioned earlier, the purpose of this evening's session is to share information and provide context for KPR's Every Student Matters Census. In the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board, we are committed to helping all students experience success. To support this goal, and as required by the Ministry of Education, we will be conducting the Every Student Matters Census from November 26th to December 10th to better understand the diversity and needs of students and school communities. This evening, we will also review some frequently asked questions that will support your participation as well as that of your child.
You may be wondering why it is that KPR is completing a student census. Simply, we're completing this census because in KPR, every student matters, and this census will help our district improve programs and services for all KPR students.
All school boards in Ontario are required to collect identity-based data under the Provincial Anti-Racism Act and the direction of the Ministry of Education. The Every Student Matters Census further supports the requirement under Policy Program Memorandum 145 from the Ministry of Education, directing school boards to ask students, staff, and parents about their experiences of bullying and harassment related to sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression.
We know and recognize as a school board that without the collection of data on our students' populations, we're not able to determine if there are areas that we need to improve upon. Without recognizing an area of need, we're unable to take action. Simply put, with data, our reflection on impact and students' experiences within schools is clearer. Without data, it's a no data, no problem, and no action situation.
Some of you may be wondering what we mean when we refer to identity-based data. This term refers to socio-demographic information about a person. It could include, but is not limited to, information about race, ethnicity, language, disability, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Some of you might be concerned about how the information we collect will be used. To put your mind at ease, we can confidently share that individual student and family information will be protected and kept confidential throughout this process. We are not seeking to identify individual information, but rather to identify patterns, trends, gaps, and barriers that may be impacting students in our schools. We are committed to personal privacy and data security.
By collecting this type of data from both students as well as parents and caregivers, the Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board will be able to identify barriers to student success, barriers to inclusion, and barriers to well-being. This data will provide schools and the district with valuable information to allocate resources and improve programs and services. Specifically, with the information that we collect, we'll be able to make evidence-informed decisions, establish effective programs, address barriers to student achievement and success, identify and address systemic discrimination, and allocate resources according to student needs so that we can create conditions where all students within our board can feel successful.
So who completes the census? Parents of students who are in junior kindergarten to grade 4 will be asked to complete the census online. As a parent or caregiver of a child in this age group, you will receive a unique access code associated with each of your children. This, along with the instructions on how to access the census, will be sent to the email address that you have shared with your child's school. Students who are between grade 5 and 12 will be asked to complete the census during school hours. In the same fashion as parents and caregivers, students in this age range will be provided with a unique access code to enter the census. An email invitation will be sent to students using their KPR email address.
As shared in the previous slide, parents and caregivers of students in kindergarten to grade 4 will be asked to complete the voluntary census online on behalf of their student. We encourage families to sit together to answer the 19-question census. Students in grade 5 to 12 will be asked to complete the voluntary census by answering questions about their backgrounds and experiences online at school. Every student will be provided with a unique access code that will ensure that their information remains confidential but not anonymous. Data will be stored separately from individual identifying information. All data will be reported in summary or grouped information. Additionally, all data is stored locally on a protected server. Students in grade 5 and 6 will answer 19 questions, and students in grades 7 to 12 will answer 20 questions on the Every Student Matters census. Where paper copies are required for those who are unable to complete the census online, the access code system will continue and envelopes will be provided for confidentiality in their return. There will be an option to request a paper copy of the census from your child's homeschool if you would prefer to access the census this way. Please contact your school office if you require a paper copy.
The Every Student Matters census will be administered between November 26th and December 10th. Opt-out requests can be made online at the kprschools.ca/census webpage anytime before November 24th, 2025 at 4 p.m.
The student census consists of two types of questions. The first are demographic questions that allow us to understand the diversity of KPR DSB students. The questions include gender, sexual orientation on the grade 7 to 12 student survey only, religion, ethnicity, race, languages, nationality, and disability. The second type of questions are about well-being and life at school. Samples of the surveys are available online at kprschools.ca/census.
The Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board conducted our first student census in 2019. That census provided us with critical information that helped identify areas of need in our policies, procedures, and programs. To continue to monitor progress, measure change, and address barriers to student success, the 2025 census results are essential for our district. Along with this, we are also meeting the provincial requirement for school boards across Ontario to continue collecting census information.
Completion of the census is voluntary for students, parents, and caregivers. It is not mandatory. That said, we recognize that a high level of completion will allow us to have a more comprehensive set of information about the school communities and students that we serve. All participants will have the option of skipping any question that they do not feel like they should answer. And they should all feel comfortable responding to any question that they do.
As shared in the prior slide, completion of the Every Student Matters census is voluntary. Every student and parent or caregiver will be able to skip any question or select the option of not sure. Again, we do want to remind families that the higher the completion rate, the richer and more reliable the information will be for both board and school improvement planning.
You may be wondering whether you can opt out of completing the Every Student Matters census. All parents and caregivers will have the opportunity to opt out and request that their child does not participate in the process. If you feel that you would like to opt out, you can make your request online at the kprschools.ca/census webpage at any point in time from now until November 24th at 4 p.m. Students from grade 5 to 12 will also be provided with information about the voluntary nature of the census. All students will have a choice. For parents and caregivers who are completing the census online for junior kindergarten to grade 4 students, consent is provided through the completion of the census.
Many parents, caregivers, and students during the first Every Student Matters census in 2019 wondered about whether the census was anonymous. You might be wondering the same thing. It is important to note that the census is confidential, but is not anonymous. This means that the Every Student census is assigned a unique access code that will link that student's responses with other data such as program participation and academic achievement. This allows our board to identify groups of students who may be underserved. This further allows us to develop or adjust programs, policies, and teaching practices, and allocate resources to improve school environments.
We are committed to personal privacy and data security. Each census will have a unique identification number assigned to them. These will only be used by the researchers to link data. All census that are completed online will be kept secure on school board servers and will only be accessed by a limited number of staff and researchers required to analyze the data. Information on individual students and families will never be shared, and all reports will be summarized in groups in order to provide an understanding of school communities and the needs of students.
If you have more than one child between junior kindergarten and grade 4, you will be asked to complete a separate census for each individual child. Each of your children will have a unique access code. While we recognize that there may be overlap in some of the information gathered, we also recognize that identity and experiences are unique to every individual child.
As we consider meeting the needs of all of our students and families, we have ensured that parents and caregivers can select their preferred language when completing the Every Student Matters census. This can be done by adjusting your internet's browser language setting or accessing Google Translate. The census is fully online and will work with any online tools. Further supports are available through the New Canadian Centre for any families of junior kindergarten to grade 4 students who may wish additional support. This information has been shared with schools, and schools who have a large population of multi-language learners will be offering additional supports like in-person sessions at school with the support of the New Canadian Centre. KPR's multi-language learner team is also working with all school leaders to ensure that direct support is provided where students are completing the census and may have language-based needs. If you require English language support, please don't hesitate to reach out to your school principal for next steps.
During the 2019 Every Student Matters census, our response rates were high. 86% of all KPR students from grades 7 to 12 completed the Every Student Matters census. We also had an amazing level of 42% total participation from KPR parents and caregivers. If you are interested in learning more about the highlights from the 2019 student census, please visit kprschools.ca/census.
Upon collection of the data from the 2019 student census, KPR was able to create census portraits specific to 8 different identity groups. Achievement data, well-being data, and personal stories from KPR students informed the creation of these portraits. More specifically, portraits were created for students from the 2S LGBTQ+ community, Black, Indigenous, Jewish, Middle Eastern, Muslim, racialized, as well as South Asian communities. These portraits will be updated upon completion of the 2025 student census and collection of new focus group data.
So what is next for parents and caregivers? If your child is between junior kindergarten and grade 4, please expect an email with your child's specific access code. This will be sent to you on November 25th, as the window for census completion begins on November 26th. Should you wish to opt out of participating, please note that the request needs to be submitted by November 24th.
For more information about KPR's Every Student Matters census, including frequently asked questions addressed tonight, please visit www.kprschools.ca/census. Should you still have unanswered questions, we invite you to send them to KPR_info, INFO, at kprdsb.ca. We will endeavor to answer your questions as they arise.
That brings us to a close of the community information session. If you know someone who was unable to make it this evening, please let them know that this session has been recorded and will be saved for viewing on the KPR Census webpage. The Kawartha Pine Ridge District School Board is committed to addressing systemic barriers to student success, creating more equitable and inclusive school environments, and improving student achievement and well-being. Collecting identity-based data will allow us to reflect on how we serve equity-deserving groups within our schools. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. We certainly hope we've been able to address some of your concerns and welcome any further questions you may have. Have a great evening.